Tennessee and Kentucky, and with a report from the sideline, let's go to our Rick Walker. Rick?
Thank you, Kevin. There's been a lot of speed in this stadium today, and that's one of the reasons why there's been so much concern all week about the playing field. An unseasonable amount of rain combined with the game against East Carolina has put this surface in the worst playing condition it's been in all season long. The grounds crew at Kentucky rolled up their sleeves and went to work. Wednesday, they brought out the rollers, as you see, squeezing out a little rain. They've had heaters and fans going on all the way until this morning. You'll see Tennessee quarterback Keith Schuler came out. He got a look and seemed pretty much encouraged. Wildcat players were equally impressed with the efforts of Kentucky's Bucky Trotter. This guy's only had 3 hours sleep the past 72 hours, and I think both sides will definitely benefit. I'll keep my eye on this to see if footwear becomes an issue as the game goes on.
All right, Rick, thank you very much. They even called George Toma, I understand, in Kansas City, the god of sod. He gave him some...
I thought they had AstroTurf in Kansas City.
Well, nonetheless, he was the guy, but he is the NFL official on such matters, and they called him here from Lexington, and he helped him out. But a great job done by the crew. We are underway. Kentucky against the Volunteers, who have to win today to stay in the Florida Citrus Bowl picture, and the Wildcats are trying to beat Tennessee for the first time since '84. Out of bounds it goes. And it will, and we have some shoving after the play. Here are the McDonald's starting lineups now. They open up the offense this year. They run the option. The key is freshman Mo Williams. He is fourth in Southeast Conference rushing with Jones, Hood, and Alonzo Browning. The Wildcat best receiver, Mark Chapman, with the tight end Samuels, who will be key on blocking today. And the offensive line is led by the most reliable player. That's Wes Jackson with Page, Parks, Rich, and Askin. Quarterback Pookie Jones. He is a junior from Murray, Kentucky. And he's got a 1st and 10 at his own 35-yard line. Pookie keeps it himself and takes it for a gain of about 2 to 3 out to the 38. Tennessee defense, they made only 2 changes all season. They got a 43 look, and they have a wide alignment on their line. Paul Yatkowski has already been drafted in the CFL with Wilson, Bonham, and Morris. The most experienced part of this defense, the linebackers. Graham, a tough one inside, and Gallion, along with Talley on the wings. And the starters in the secondary, there are 2, but Deron Jenkins, 9th nationally in interceptions, with Davis, Brown, and a very strong net. It is 2nd down and 7 for Kentucky. Jones out of the pocket, looking down the near side for his receiver, Browning. Incomplete pass. And the coverage applied by Ronald Davis. He is a junior from Bartlett, Tennessee. Incomplete pass.
Kevin, we've already seen what separates the Kentucky offense from most option or triple option type teams is their ability to break out of that 3-back offense and go shotgun with Pookie Jones dropping back and hitting Browning and Chapman and other receivers. That's the diversity that's tough on a defense.
There's a former Tennessee coach and player, Darrell Dickey, now the offensive coordinator with the Wildcats. His offense facing 3rd and 7. Winding up. In the flat, he's got Mo Williams, but out to the 41 is all he can get. He needed to get out to the 45, and Kentucky has got a punt. For a second time, Ronald Davis is involved in the coverage, number 1 from the secondary of the Vols.
I know a lot of people say, why throw that pass when you didn't go deep enough to get a 1st down? But that was good defense by Tennessee. They forced him into the short throw, and Pookie Jones did not force the ball deep.
Wildcats will punt. Corey Fleming is who you see right there, all-time leading touchdown receiver for the University of Tennessee. Nichols will punt. A little bit short as it rolls inside the 25 and inside the 20-yard line. Got a nice bounce on a very soggy surface. A punt of 39 yards on the play. There's Heath Schuler. He's the quarterback. This offense extremely explosive. They got Charlie Garner. He epitomizes the great quickness. Schuler hands off, and Phillips is a fine blocker. They call this wide receiver U. Corey Fleming broke Alvin Harper's touchdown record. They've got a wrecking ball at center. On that line, Bubba Miller with Lehman, Mays, Smith, and Ratliff. On the young Tennessee offensive line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Heath Schuler at his own 19-yard line. And it's a handoff. Breaking free, Garner. He is a 5'10", 187-pound senior from Falls Church, Virginia. They haven't a lot of touchdown in 2 games, this Kentucky defense. They got a tough one on that end. Zane being a good pass rusher, he'll probably play on Sundays. Lofton, Stinson, and Carter round out that defensive line. Linebacker Marty Moore is 4th all-time in tackles at Kentucky. Linebacking core also with Williams and Snarden. And in the secondary, Marcus Jenkins, 7th in the country in interceptions with Sherwood, Robinson, Johnson. 2nd down and 2. Schuler gives the handoff. Garner again breaking a tackle. He needs to get out near the 29, and that's exactly where he takes the ball. And it's a 1st down from Tennessee.
Kevin, you know, Keith Schuler gets all the billings in the national headlines, but this Charlie Garner, I'm so impressed watching him on film. He's a 4'3", type 40 guy. You know, he goes 5'10", 185 pounds. Reminds you of a Joe Washington, the old Oklahoma darter. I mean, he is an intense competitor and really a home run threat from your remaining back.
1st and 10 for Tennessee at their own 30. Schuler to pass for the first time in the game. Dumps it off in the flat. It drops. Never dropping it for us, though, as he takes a look at a busy day, is Mike Tirico. Mike?
Kevin, at the Coliseum, the battle for the Pac-10 end of the Rose Bowl. Wayne Cook, who ran one in earlier, hands it to Skip Hicks. 4-yard touchdown run. The Bruins started the 2nd quarter, lead the Trojans.
Now the Trojans have won the last 10 when the Rose Bowl was at stake for both teams. And it's going to be a very... Notre Dame today, Gary, my goodness, what a day in college football.
That's just what I predicted early. Nebraska, West Virginia for the national. No, I don't think I'll be able to sell that, will I?
I don't think so. 2nd down and 10. Schuler for a 2nd consecutive pass. A screen job here that goes off to Garner, and he's tripped up as he nears the 33-yard line. And picks up about 3 on the play, bringing up 3rd down. And David Snarden, a sophomore from Louisville, Kentucky, makes the Wildcats down.
Kentucky's a little different defensive football team this year. A year ago, 1992, they were last in the SEC. Mike Archer has come over, turned it into a 4-3. As you take a look at Mike, the former LSU coach, they're working together as a unit, more attack upfield.
Schuler with some pressure, and he passes the ball out to the side. It'll be a 1st down and a great block, and it's Nilo Sylvan who takes it out to the 43-yard line. Returned a punt last week against Louisville, 69 yards. That's a gain of 11, and it's a 1st down for Heath Schuler in Tennessee.
As you look at it, 21 touchdown passes, Tennessee record. He had the rushing record a year ago as a sophomore. I mean, he's a high jumper in high school, 6'9". I mean, that is a tremendous athlete. And I compared him to Burt Jones. He's a big-time football player.
We're down in 10 now. No score early in the ballgame. And they got the right tackle to move. That's Leslie Ratliff. He's a sophomore from Newport, Arkansas.
Got a false start. Offensive team, 5 yards, repeat the down.
As we saw on that 1st down play to Sylvan, the problem that Kentucky will have throughout this football game is matching up one-on-one with the speed of Tennessee. They might have the right defense, they might be in position, but will Tennessee's athletes just make plays?
Well, he makes it 1st and 15 for Tennessee. This time it's Fleming. And he picks up some chunks up to about the 49-yard line, and they're saying it's a fumble on the side, and they blew him dead. Now he's got about 5 yards to go for a 1st down. Gain of 10 on that particular play is Melvin Johnson. Cincinnati, wearing number 25, makes the start. Mike Archer was with the national championship staff and Coach Schnellenberger down at Miami of Florida. Then went to LSU, was under Bill Arnsparger down in Bayou country, and went to Virginia last year after he was a head coach at LSU. Now he's with Kentucky. 2nd down and 6. A little bit high. It looked like Fleming may have gotten tangled up with James Tucker, a linebacker, on the far flat. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, Stinson and Bean, they'll put some pressure on Heath Schuler that time. And that's really the challenge for this Kentucky defense is how can they put pressure on Schuler? They know they can't match up in the secondary very long, so they have to get the ball out of that man's hands as quickly as possible. Every time you blitz, you have the potential of the big play.
Well, that offensive line Coach Fulmer told us last night he's got 4, maybe 5 that will play in the NFL in the future. Here's a 3rd and 6. Tennessee. Blitz was on. Pass is complete. Fleming's got the ball. From the 40 to the 35. Right through the defense into the 20-yard line of Kentucky. First down, Tennessee. Gain of 31 yards.
Well, they're averaging 40 points a game, which is 4th in the NCAA, and they're doing it with big plays. This time, Kentucky blitzes, and Don Robinson on the right side of your screen, number 38, is playing outside technique. He has no help inside. That's big play. When you have no free safety in the middle of the field, you have to take away the inside of the field. You have to have the sideline be your 12th defender. Don Robinson got beat inside. That's why you get a big play on you.
The big 6'3" Corey Fleming. He is a load. 1st and 10, Tennessee. Over the sideline, almost knocked away. Reception by Joey Kent. Dancing down the sideline inside the 10. Kent is a freshman from Huntsville, Alabama. Pick up a 13 on the play.
But we saw Charlie Ward, Kevin, do this all year. Shotgun, no backs, 1 back. But Heath Schuler looks just as comfortable. I mean, I watched him in film. He is a very accurate thrower. And David Cutcliffe, their offensive coordinator, says he's been working with him on being more accurate. He wants yard after catch, and you do that with accurate throws.
10th play of the drive. In the end zone, touchdown, Corey Fleming.
Again, Kevin, Kentucky trying to put pressure on Heath Schuler. One thing that Mark Archer was worried about is whether he could match up when they went 5 wide receivers. Again, they blitzed and they get beat inside. Even though pressure was on Heath Schuler, he waited long enough, got rid of the ball, and that easy pitch and catch for a touchdown.
And the first touchdown that Kentucky has given up, and there the defensive coordinator Mike Archer in 2 games. Extra point is good, 7-0. Tennessee's on top. Quick strike team. They can run it. They can throw it. Schuler's the man on top the ball. South Tennessee in their first possession is scored going downfield, 81 yards in 10 plays. It took just under 4 minutes. They usually score under 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was a slow drive for Tennessee. They're going to have to get back to work. You know, they'll be very disappointed with that drive.
Bexford will kick off for Tennessee. Take it out of the end zone. He's knocked it about the 16-yard line. Oh, Kentucky will get it for a 2nd time today after punting the first time they had the ball. Big game down in Alabama between Auburn and Alabama.
I'll tell you, I've been a big fan of Stan White since his freshman year, and that's a huge game. Wisconsin beating Illinois. I mean, they are alive in that Rose Bowl game and making that Tokyo game look very big.
Kansas shutting out Missouri. Bob Stoll may be in trouble for the Tigers. Texas over Baylor. Well, now playing from behind at their 16th. Kentucky 1st and 10. Browning coming in motion to the lower part of his screen. Oh, Williams. Pressure. Leading rusher on Kentucky takes it right up the gut. A lot of hard yards earned up there. Yatkowski makes the stop on Williams, who grew up most of his life here in Lexington, Kentucky, and then his mom got a job down in Georgia. Came back up here to school.
It was really nice to talk to Bill Curry about Mo Williams. His eyes lit up when he talked about him. Said his only weakness is inexperience.
Very mature kid. 2nd out of it. Got that stack out. Cookie is going to throw the ball. It's incomplete, looking for his wingback, Alfonso Browning. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, had a couple people in his face that time, and he was really forced to get rid of the ball a lot earlier than he wanted to. Off of the option play, fakes it into the line, then drops back, and you can tell that he has to get rid of the ball just a step before he wanted to, and that's really what caused the incompletion. Darrell Dickey, of course, a great Tennessee quarterback in his day, now wearing the blue of Kentucky.
On the gun, little shovel pass. Mo Williams, first down. Lunging out near the 27ers. He's going to be a little bit short. Let's see where they spot the ball. I thought he may have got it with that next to last second lunge he had.
little bit of a unique thing for Kentucky. They hold hands between their guard and their tackle. The reasoning is their tackles can't hear the snap count. And when the guards let go of it, they know that the ball has been snapped, and that way the ends can't fake and cause an illegal procedure penalty.
Freshman. Oh, is he drilled on the sideline? And a butt, too. Let's hand it off to Mike Tirico. Mike.
Kevin, in the WAC, Wyoming and BYU are tied at 5-1 atop the conference. Wyoming playing Colorado State today. Big early start, final minutes, first quarter. Anthony Hill dodging tackles, 11 yards. What second effort. He scores there, so first place Wyoming down, and BYU also tied for first, trailing by 7.
Eyes up Provo. Second down and 7. Schuler's got a touchdown pass already in this game for the Volunteers. Drive for Tennessee. Jones out of that triple set. Williams. And a fumble on the play. A flag thrown as well.
We've really seen with the stack eye, the eye bone that Bill McCartney started at Colorado, the variation off of the wishbone, what the difference is. They're able to run isolation off-tackle plays like that one right there with Mo Williams. That's the little bit of a changeup that the stacked eye or the eye bone gives you. You get a lot of defenses trying to play assignment football, standing there and catching plays. Then you run the isolation right at them. You get people kind of look for the option. You play power football right in their face. Was created for Eric Bieniemy when he was in Colorado.
Third down and 3 now for Kentucky. The quarterback keeps it. And a little bit long, looking for a wide receiver. That's Clyde Rudolph, junior from Pensacola, number 27, who's out in the flat for a second consecutive possession. Kentucky's got to punt the ball away, trailing 7-0.
Well, you can see the respect they had for the Tennessee front 7 on that play. 3rd and 3 with an option football team. That would automatically be an option play in most three-back offenses, but not for Kentucky stack guy. They can throw out of their formation.
Reza to punt to Fleming. Back for Tennessee. He caught that touchdown pass first time the Volunteers had it. A little low on that snap. And Fleming into a thicket of Kentucky players is taken down. Not a lot of room right there to the 32-yard line. That's where Tennessee will start things for a second time as we're halfway through this first quarter. Volunteers on top. 40 degrees, but the wind chill's taking it deeper. Cloudless skies, no rain in sight. They had rain here yesterday. It is cool in Lexington today. With Gary Danielson, Rick Walker, Kevin Harlan. First and 10 for Tennessee. Gardner, big hole up the middle. Like a pinball. He's bouncing off bodies and picks up about 12 right up the gut.
I'll tell you, he hits that hole like a bullet, but you know, he is a tremendously quick starter from the backfield. What a varied offense Tennessee has. I mean, they've got an offensive line up there probably as athletic as any in the conference, but they've got a running back that knows how to hit it, and he has great confidence in that offensive line also. Interesting
thing about Gardner, when he came here, he was looking at 2 freshmen that started the year before he arrived.
Yeah, James Stewart and Aaron Hayden. In fact, Aaron Hayden was freshman of the year, so you know he has great confidence in himself. Either that or nobody gave him scholarship.
Down there. Here's first and 10 for Schuler. Nice pump fake. Going long. A little bit too long for Fleming. Incomplete pass down that far side. What do you think of Schuler so far? You told me upstairs, I'll just kind of let people in, that you thought his arm was stronger than you anticipated.
Yeah, I watched him on film, and I was a little bit, I wanted to see in person. You really got to see the guy throw the ball in conditions like this windy day, and boy, he is the real deal. And, you know, talking with him last night, too, he's so unaffected by all this going around him. You know, it really reminds you of Charlie Ward, the way he answers questions.
Schuler and the Volunteer offense with the second down and 10. Drop block. Got a block from his wide receiver. Weaving by defenders, breaking tackles inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line. Tackle made by Marty Moore. One of the keys coming into today was the Kentucky defense stopping the Tennessee running game.
Yeah, how do you stop this? You got a quarterback that might win the Heisman next year, and now you got the tailback on the draw just popping it right through there. And, you know, this is the type of an offense, or with that offensive line there, I believe that most all of us could run in there, but not at 4.3 speed. He's a blur. If you don't really watch him real carefully, he just blurs across the screen.
17 on that carry, 40 for the game. They call his number again. This time he's wrapped up. Deuce Williams makes the secondary stop for the Kentucky Wildcats. Garner Junior College transfer. There's Deuce. He wears number 2. His first name is Deuce. He's got 2 interceptions and 2 tackles already today. Commonwealth Stadium, Lexington, Kentucky. Built back in 1973. Plan to add some more seats here over the next couple years to make it a stadium that will seat about 75,000 for Bill Curry and his football program. Second down and 9. Play action by Schuler. Wrapped in, taken down, but he got the pass away and it's dropped.
You know, I talked about how strong he was.
Wow.
But that's just a perfect example. This kid is strong. You can tell with his legs. He's wrapped up by Bean this time, coming from the outside. Drops back, fakes the draw a little bit. But watch, he gets held on. He's got no legs in his throw and throws it about 20 yards downfield.
Heath Schuler from Bryson City, North Carolina. Population 1,500, just south of Gatlinburg. And it's about 80 miles away from Knoxville, home of the Tennessee Volunteers. On 3rd and 9. Back to pass. Schuler back down to the line of scrimmage. He got in his face, Gary. That's a tough place for a quarterback to view.
Well, for the Kentucky defense, this was a big stand. They were just shocked on the first drive where everything Tennessee did work. This time they stepped up, and that's the leadership, I think, of Bill Curry and Mike Archer brings. This Kentucky defense has no quit in them. They've been in every football game but the Indiana, and this time Stinson, number 94, reaches up and swats it down.
Adjustments made by Mike Archer after that first drive. Here's a former walk-on, Tom Hutton, to punt for Tennessee, and Riazzi is there at about the 10-yard line for the Wildcats. And it's going to land somewhere inside the 1-yard line, actually kicking into the end zone. Touch back to the 20, 38-yard punt. No return for the Kentucky Wildcats, who trail 7-0. Bill Fulmer's Tennessee Wildcats lead the game. Volunteers of Tennessee on top of the Wildcats of Kentucky. We didn't mean to give Tennessee a new nickname there for the Tennessee Wildcats. But they're playing like Wildcats to begin this game. And here comes Kentucky with a 1st and 10 at their own 20. This is their 3rd possession, punting the previous 2 times they've had it. Gets out of there and throws it off to his running back, who makes the catch and breaks a couple tackles and picks up a 1st down. Nice pass to Williams, and we'll pass it off to Mike Tirico. Mike?
Speaking of passes, Kevin, another one from Glenn Foley to Pete Mitchell. Boston College looks like they're going to knock number 1 off in South Bend. Auburn is at the 5-yard line of Alabama, leading by 1 without their starter, Stan White.
Now, Boston College has won 7 consecutive games since losing to Northwestern earlier. And they give it off in a dive. And it's a game of 2. Gary, you don't see many teams use this stack eye, and a lot of people feel it's a way to kind of hide some deficiencies as you're rebuilding a program. You agree with that?
Well, I think it offers you some time to rebuild. And the stack eye allows you to hit up inside. The change has been from outside, switching these people to here, and allows you to run those isolation plays. What you have to do when you run option football, though, is establish the fullback inside, making those defensive tackles and middle linebacker be honest.
Second down and 7. It goes to Damon Hood, who's a good pass protector, and he takes it just beyond the 40-yard line. A couple of yards to go for a 1st down. Rick, what do you have downstairs?
Well, Kevin, one of the most important tools in the football game aside the helmets and shoulder pads on a day like this is a scraper and a spike to be able to get.
They'll probably change those shoes from time to time today, as this field does get a bit more unruly. 3rd down and 1 for Kentucky. Williams again, breaking a tackle. Does not get the first down, though. He was drilled by Leland Taylor. He is a freshman from Louisville, Kentucky. And he made a whale of a hit on the near side.
6'4", goes about 280 pounds, and he can run. Boy, he hit Williams head up, and he didn't go anywhere.
Well, it's 4th down and 1, and for a third straight time in 3 possessions, Kentucky's got a punt.
Can you believe a guy 6'4", 280 pounds running like that and getting to Mo Williams? What an athletic speed play he just made.
And a fair catch is called for, and the ball will roll by the single safety man. That was Kendrick Jones. And a punt of 39 yards on the play. Here in Lexington, Tennessee leads at 7-0. The Residents In College Football scoreboard show will come up immediately after this game today.
Yeah, you have to give Glenn Foley credit. I mean, we've talked Heath Schuler, Charlie Ward, but Glenn Foley's had an outstanding year. Of course, Rick Zier, also from Georgia. Some outstanding quarterbacks in college football this year.
Heath Schuler will hand off. That's the big fella running outside for Kentucky Wildcats. That's James Littleman Stewart, junior from Morristown, Tennessee. Led the team in rushing as a freshman. And his numbers dropped a year ago. He is very viable, though, in this Tennessee offense.
Well, when you play tailback at Tennessee, you know a lot of people are being recruited to take that spot. And, you know, Charlie Garner has just come in here. He's just too good to keep on the bench. And Stewart has had to take his reps when he can get them.
Domination by the Tennessee offense so far in the game. They lead 7-0. 2nd and 4, play action, and a little bootleg by Schuler, whipping it on the sideline for a first down. Catch was made across the way by Billy Williams. We didn't know if he was going to play today, but he picks up 21 yards to match the uniform number, and Mike Archer can only try to think of ways to stop Heath Schuler.
Well, I don't know if there is. They're going to fake this off the counter tray. The right guard and tackle fake. You see Heath Schuler fake with his hand that time. Looks off inside, throws the ball the flat to Billy Williams, who's supposed to be hurt a little bit, but he looks pretty good to me. One of the unique things about this Tennessee offense is the top 3 receivers on this team are all wide receivers. They are going downtown when they throw it.
1st and 10 now for Tennessee. Good play fake. Outside Williams again. Look at the entourage he has, but coming right through with a nice hit was Marcus Jenkins. He's a guy that's a great interceptor. He's picked off 6 this year. That time he worked his way through the oncoming entourage of Tennessee.
If there's a strength in this Kentucky team coming in, coverages in the first quarter of this game.
2nd and 6, Stewart spinning his way near the 45. I've heard of offenses, Gary, scripting offense, but not defensive scripting.
A little different in this game. You know, Bill Walsh started it scripting offensive plays, but this Mike Archer.
His 22nd touchdown pass of the season. He looks sharp in Tennessee, the number 7th ranked team in college football, leading Kentucky. With Gary Danielson, Rick Walker, Kevin Harlan, Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to the Commonwealth, where the Wildcats trailing 7th ranked Tennessee 7-0. Touchdown pass by Heath Schuler already. Now the Volunteers face a 3rd and 3 at the Kentucky 46. From the gun, Schuler. Good time. Bullet pass, double team, incomplete. Far side. They had that well covered, Gary.
Kentucky came with only 3 rushers, played man coverage on all the receivers, but they had 2 free safeties deep. That seems to have worked the last 2 times in the 3rd down situations. Blitzing Heath Schuler will not get it. Mike Archer is a master coming out of with Howard Schnellenberger out of Miami and Bill Arnsbarger from LSU.
Ozzie back for Kentucky. Hutton to punt for a 2nd time for Tennessee. Catch will be on a knee at the 13-yard line. Out of 33 yards on the play. And Kentucky will get it for another time. They trail 7-0. Brown College football. Notre Dame coming back just a bit now in the 4th quarter. State over Northwestern. Playing at Evanston, Illinois. Second back through. This is Brown. Big hole. He's got a first down for Kentucky. To the 33-yard line, a gain of 19 yards on the play.
The 3-back stack.
I would assume is at the line of scrimmage. We got to control that.
Well, they have to do it by keeping Tennessee off balance.
Jones holds the ball. He is thrown for a loss of about 3 back at the 30-yard line.
Reggie Ingram makes the tackle, and anytime the middle linebacker tackles the quarterback on an option, he should have given the ball. That's the one guy in the option that the offensive line has to account for. Either the tackle or the guard has to seal off that middle linebacker. This time Reggie Ingram reads the play. They must establish the fullback inside to keep that man, the leading tackler on this football team, off of the quarterback.
Second and 13 now for Kentucky. It's a quarterback thinking when he sees that big old boss looking right at him.
Give me the ball to somebody else.
Yeah. It's caught for the tight end Samuels, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage.
A little bit interesting, Terry Samuels led this Kentucky team in rushing in 1991 and 92 and finds himself as a tight end. Does not get the ball much, but
since 1989, big win last week, 6-3 over East Carolina. They courted now by the Peach Bowl down in Atlanta for a New Year's Eve game. Timeout, Kentucky. And Kentucky calls a timeout. Pookie Jones will go to the sideline and chat things over with Bill Curry.
Bay College football is brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles. The result.
Bill Curry, the coach of Kentucky, told us yesterday this is the best team he has seen all season. This Tennessee Volunteer Ball Club. They lead now 7-0. We're early in the second quarter. 3rd and 9 for Kentucky. And it goes right to the running back. It's Mo Williams, who pounds it up near the 40-yard line. He'll be 3 yards shy of first down.
I think Kentucky is going to be very relaxed here. They want to be conservative. They're playing field position. Now they have the wind, and until Tennessee opens up a bigger lead, I think they're going to be patient with their offense.
And Ariza will punt once again. He's a junior from Miami for a punt today. And Fleming beat back with the rush coming on from the Volunteers. That takes a nice Kentucky bounce inside the 23, 24-yard line. Back to our college football studios now, Mike Tirico. About that Wisconsin game. Wisconsin has not won at Champaign since 1970. There's the biggest game that program's had probably since 1970.
And they got the best team they've had since 1970.
Schuler hands off. Big hole for Gardner. From the 30 to the 35. Dances an open field from the 40 to the 45 and breaking a tackle. Wow. Is he something? My goodness.
You know, the likeness to Joe Washington. He runs with his feet very close together. Looks like he's skipping. He breaks laterally as fast as he breaks upfield with the speed. He's really a great broken field. Boom, boom, boom. Inside, outside. That man didn't even touch him. If they were playing flag football, they wouldn't have got him on that one. What an electrifying runner he is in the broken field.
Tennessee coaches told us maybe the quickest running back they've ever had in Tennessee, and they've had some good ones. Webb.
Yeah, and they call him an intense competitor, too, and you love to hear that about him, too.
Planted by Schuler. Look at the time. The pass right in the middle. A twirling catch made by Craig Faulkner. Leads the team in receiving yards, picks up 20 run right there, and moves Tennessee down to the 27 of Kentucky.
And it's a great story about Craig Faulkner. As you see the play action pass, how can you not cover that guy if you're a linebacker? And Schuler can rip the ball into the middle of the field, and Faulkner makes the catch. I say great story about Craig Faulkner because he contemplated quitting football. He had a bad wrist, a motorcycle injury, comes back, he's in there making a contribution.
Schuler will give off once again to Garner. And he weasels his way down near the 31-yard line. He hits that hole hard, doesn't he?
He really does. And, you know, I've seen Florida State up close and watched their tailbacks, and I've seen Michigan, who I think has an outstanding offense, but I'm not sure if there's a better all-around offense in college football than the Tennessee Volunteers right here. They can hurt you in so many ways, and with the quarterback, big-time quarterback, an offensive line as strong as anyone, and a tailback that you have to stop.
Now they're going to use Garner as a wide receiver. 2nd down and 4, single back. And the call goes up the middle. And the carry by Mose Phillips, a junior from Nashville, former high school.
Program are you at Kentucky right now? And he didn't even hesitate. He said, we're a bowl team. And he said it with pride, and you had to believe him. I mean, he is turning this program around, and it's not easy. He's doing it in the Southeastern Conference, a great conference.
Schuler now facing 3rd and 3. Stewart knocked out of bounds. Nice pursuit by the Kentucky defense. It did not get the first down. It does get to the 19-yard line. Notre Dame really fighting back now. Look at the time, but look at this
now. But there's a lot of people watching that score.
You better believe it.
Nice stop by the Kentucky defense that time. They really, Tennessee has a lot of weapons, and another position stop by their defense to keep them in this ball game. Their offense isn't producing much. Their defense is keeping them in the game.
Exworth will be trying a 35-yard field goal. There is a wind in his face, but he splits the uprights and extends the lead of Tennessee over Kentucky 10-0. Tennessee has a touchdown pass from Heath Schuler. We'd now like to recognize our U.S. Army student of the game today, and from the University of Tennessee, quarterback Heath Schuler is a junior marketing major with a 3.11 GPA. He is spoke recently to a bunch of prisoners at the Tennessee State Penitentiary. Gave them a motivational talk. Transfer from Louisville takes it by the 25 and out near the 29-yard line. Let's go down to the field now in a chilly Rich walk. Rick.
Kevin, I got a jacket. I feel pretty good. You know, bowls is a big talk right now. Robert Del Morgan was with the Peach Bowl, and seems like there's a little affection right now with the Peach Bowl.
Jones at the 1st and 10 for the Kentucky Wildcats. Trailing 10-0. First back through in that eye is Damon Hood. Rick.
Also like to ask you who on the other side.
6 o'clock Eastern on New Year's Eve. It's a 2nd down and 6 now for Kentucky. And they give it to Williams. Maurice Williams up to about the 36-yard line. What do you think of the Tennessee defense, Gary?
Well, the Tennessee defense right now is stacked against the Kentucky stack-eye offense. They've got 9 people within 5 or 6 yards of the line of scrimmage. And on the outside, they're playing man-on-man coverage. Whoever the one wide receiver is, he's got man coverage all over the field with really no free safety helping him. They have great coverage people in the secondary.
3rd and 3 for Kentucky, an early play that could mean a lot for this Wildcat ball club. The handoff, and it's a first down. Damon Hood got the call and takes it for a first down. We now send it to Mike Tirico. Terry Bowden promises players rings if they beat Alabama today, saying this was our bowl game, this is our championship.
What a great story it is for the Auburn Tigers coming back. And, you know, he got a lot of support from Pat Dye, too, and he really gives them a lot of credit for this season.
Shotgun formation. The screen pass out of the flat. Caught by Woodfork.
Caught and dropped. I think they're going to call it incomplete.
And a flag thrown on the play as well. That was against Kentucky.
I tell you, this is something that used to really burn me as a quarterback, is an offensive holding penalty on a screen. I used to say, guys, this is the time I want you to let them go on the screens. On the passes, hold them, not the screens.
That's the first
holding during the play, offensive line, 10 yards and spot a foul.
First penalty against Kentucky, the least penalized team in the Southeast Conference.
You can see the far right side of your screen, number 74. I think it's Chris Page. He feels his man going around and trying to grab him. Might have just got a little handful of jersey right there, and that's called and brought the flag. And because it's from the point of the spot, that's a big foul.
1st and 30 now with the penalty called against Kentucky.
Mookie Jones has to be very careful here.
Olive flat Woodfork tripped up out to the 26-yard line. Gary, moments ago when they were at the line of scrimmage, saw the offensive lineman holding hands. Why?
Well, they are the type of players that because of the shotgun, the tackles on the outside, they can't hear the snap count very well, so they don't want to be looking at the ball. They can keep their eye on the outside defensive ends. You can see it, one more look at it. As the guard lets go, the tackle will know that the ball is snapped, and he won't have to be looking inside.
2nd down and 27. Here's the athleticism of Mookie Jones. Got a block. And that block cut him a huge gain on the play of about 17 yards.
Yeah, Michael Woodfork again came back and got the block. And that got him at least into position where they can punt the ball and turn the field back if they don't pick up the first down.
12 now. There's Woodfork, freshman redshirt from Paducah. Nice snap to Jones, looking for the quick slant. It's dropped. Dropped by Mark Chapman.
Yeah. Really was a good drop, though. If you're ever going to drop one, the play was not there. Reggie Ingram, the middle linebacker, took a short drop that time looking for the screen pass. Very safe call by the Kentucky offensive staff, and I think a pretty good call. If they're in the right defense, you got it. But right here, watch Reggie Ingram come in and give a little shot. and Mark Chapman, it's one of those ones you want to drop.
Fifth possession, fifth punt for Kentucky. Plumbing deep back, and that was just about blocked. Coming out the fly from the 29. Makes a tackle, and another. Look at the strength of that 6'3" wide receiver. The former option quarterback, and there is a flag thrown at the 33-yard line on that far sideline.
During the run back, illegal block.
Really not producing much. Their defense is kept them in the game. Tennessee converted their first 2 third-down conversions and are 0 for 3 sets. So 10-0. I got to believe Kentucky's happy to be in the game considering they've been able to produce basically nothing on offense.
Charlie Gardner cuts back the other way. He's got the first down. Look at him weave and cut and dance out by the 40. And to the 41-yard line, gain of 18 on the play.
Charlie looks over to the bench and said, just give me the ball. This is fun. Middle linebacker has to make the plays. He's got the inside angle, gets blocked this time from inside out by the offensive line, Trey Peterson. Actually, a backup offensive line for Tennessee to talk about their depth. But when Charlie Gardner has the football, he has capability of taking it big all the time.
A little like Garrison Hurst down in Georgia.
He really does. He's a little faster, I think, than Garrison Hurst.
There he comes again. Flag thrown, and he gains about 4 to 5. Rick Walker's down on that field. Rick?
Guys, I thought it was real interesting on the Kentucky sideline. Head coach Bill Curry got the troops around and rallied them and made the point that they were being out-hit. Didn't talk X's and O's, just mentioned they were physically being beaten, and he wanted that thing to be turned around immediately.
Rick, do you sense it's an emotional sideline there with Kentucky, considering they're probably going to the bowl now?
No, I don't. I just think they're being beat at the punch. They're not able to convert on third down. They need one big play. Somebody's got to step up and just make a play.
Well, the speed for Tennessee has Kentucky on their heels, and Mike Archer was fearful of that. He knew that he did not match up well when Kentucky brings in 4 and 5 wideouts, and he did not want to have his defensive people on their heels. That's why he talked about blitzing a little.
Keith Schuler. Garner again. Got a block. Broke a tackle on bounces to about the 37-yard line. Mel Kiper, before this season began, said he may finish third in the Heisman balloting behind Falk and Charlie Ward, the quarterback.
Well, he's as good as a running back as you'll find. I mean, Ty Wheatley and Marshall Falk are the marquee guys, but when you see a Charlie Garner run the way he does in the open field, you can tell he's a special football player. And when we talked to Coach Fulmer last night, he said, hey, if people can't stop our tailback, they're not going to stop us.
And he's a guy no one's heard of.
Well, people are going to hear a lot more of him.
Second down and 15. Quick footwork by the quarterback, and he dumps it off in the flat. Goes to Mose Phillips. And he's out at the 37-yard line. Look at Notre Dame, huh? Because of his affinity for John Hadel, who he does have an autographed picture of. But he's Schuler, when he was a junior high quarterback, had only one number to choose that was available. Number 21. He's kept it ever since, even in major college days. 3rd and 15. Penalty flag thrown at the 49. Play clock at
Before the snap, delay a game, offensive team.
You have to give credit to this Kentucky defense. They really do not match up well, as we talked about. But Mike Archer changing up the defenses. Bill Curry has said that our defense and our guys play together as a unit. And when we talked to Mike Archer yesterday, he said that when he came here in the spring, he talked to his defensive coaching staff and said, listen, our guys have been beaten down. We want to coach them positive. Coach them when they do something wrong, but be positive with them, and it's paid off this year.
There's a 3rd and 20 for Schuler, rolling out of the pocket with the pump fake and going long. And they had the wide receiver, Craig Faulkner, completely covered. He threw it away.
Well, he did. He had to. He had Marty Moore right in his face. Marty Moore, the really heart and soul of this defense and the inspirational leader. You can see downfield, gets a little bit of a jam, and Heath Schuler just had to let that ball go outside for an incompletion. Marty Moore, the middle linebacker, when Heath Schuler comes out of the pocket, the SEC's leading tackler is going to paste one on him.
Senior Marty Moore playing his final home game here. Here's another punt now for Tom Hutton, junior from Memphis. Riazzi is deep back for the Kentucky Wildcats. Oh, snap, and a left-footed kick. This is returnable from the 25. He had no help, though, and he is spun like a corkscrew at the 26. A return of 3, but a punt of 43 yards. Flag thrown on the play. Residents in college football win, and win impressively. 7:30 p.m. tonight with Ron Franklin and the coach, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Karsten from, I'm sure, very warm Tallahassee, Florida. This game moving right along, but I think it has surprised some people the way that the defense of Kentucky, which has been the last 2 years in the Southeast Conference, now has been elevated by Mike Archer, has come out to play.
Well, they've only given up in the last 10 quarters 13 points coming into this game. You know, I admit it was Vanderbilt in East Carolina, and it's not a Tennessee style ability type defense, but they've developed some pride on that defense, and when you play for that man, you have to have pride in yourself because he's instilling it in his players.
10 NFL seasons Bill Curry had with Green Bay, Baltimore, Houston, Los Angeles Rams, was an assistant coach with the Green Bay Packers, and you can see where Kentucky's offense has not answered any call today, but it's been all defense for the Wildcats.
You're right, and Tennessee has a big-time defense, and with their athletes, it's going to be tough for this stack eye to work for Kentucky. I think they're going to have to be able to at least keep running it to keep the defense honest, but to move the ball, they're going to have to throw it and play-action pass it.
Away handoff, and Browning gets the call.
I would think Kentucky right now would be happy to run off the final 3 minutes in this first half of this game, go in 10-0 and try to reestablish what they're going to try to do on offense to put some points on the board. They have to be thrilled to be as close as they are considering what they've done.
And considering Tennessee scores 40 points a game. Right. 2nd down and 8. The receiver, but he wasn't spun around. Randy Wyatt, Pookie Jones, just a little bit back of his wideout.
Well, Randy Wyatt is the 3rd leading receiver on this team, and Darrell Dickey said we have to find a way to get him the ball in this football game. He and Browning are the 2 guys that have the capability with the passing game of taking it all the way. I talked to Darrell Dickey yesterday. He knew, you know, being from the Tennessee tradition, his dad is athletic director, that what Tennessee and the people they had in, but when you can't move it on 3rd down, you're not going to make a lot of first downs.
Down and 8 for Kentucky. Jones being chased. No running about.
Again, not able to pick up a first down, and that's going to put heavy pressure on this Kentucky defense again, because I'll guarantee you Heath Schuler will come on now with 4 and 5 wide receivers trying to tack up one more touchdown on before the half ends.
Are these secondary plays being made by Tennessee that's not allowing any kind of completion?
Yeah, the formation that Kentucky's running against them allows Tennessee to load up against the run, and they just don't match up well enough with the athletes in the Tennessee secondary.
4th 3 and out for Kentucky. Coming in midfield. On a block. Flag thrown as he takes it on a lunge by the 40.
And really, the penalties for Tennessee, the last series they had the big holding penalty, and on the punt, they've had another one right here, is also helping Kentucky stay in the football game. As you see, coach says, move it back.
During the run back, illegal block in the back, 10 yards from spot of foul, first down.
You know, Kevin, everyone talks about the athletes for Tennessee and the speed they have, but some of the great athletes on this football team for Tennessee play the offensive line. As you can see, we talked yesterday to Bill Curry about their November record and with Coach Fulmer about the November record. You see Tennessee has a dominating November record. Frankly, they got pretty good athletes. That's why they were in November.
Schuler back to pass. And on the flat. That's big Mose Phillips across the way. And he picks up about 5 yards. Mose Phillips, 220 pounds, averaging about 6 yards a carry.
Phillips is the 4th leading receiver on the team after the 3 wideouts, so you can see what a versatile player he is.
2nd down and 5. Garner gets the call. He wiggles free and takes it inside the Kentucky 40-yard line. Gain of 11 on the play, move the chains.
Tennessee has all of their timeouts, and with the ability in college football to stop the clock after a first down, they should have plenty of time with 2 minutes to go. It won't be a factor.
Schuler. Near side, diving catch was lassoed by Mose Phillips. What's a guy that big making a catch like that?
Well, if you don't catch the ball around this unit, you don't play.
See, O'Heath enjoyed that one. 10-0 Tennessee. We're just before halftime here in Lexington. Record for Auburn, all the scores. Ohio State today getting shut out in the Big House up in Ann Arbor.
I don't know where I'd rather be right now. South Bend to watch that finish of that game. That must be something, or Opelika down there where Auburn campus will be going wild.
2nd down and 8 for Heath Schuler. He's hit. He'll be sacked. No, he gets it away, and it's fumble. There's a fumble on the play. Now they roll an incompletion.
Heath Schuler threw that pass left-handed with Zane Bean all over him. Zane Bean comes in from the right side, and one of the things the great quarterbacks, he was a catcher in baseball. I asked him what his favorite other sport was. He said track. Not very many quarterbacks say track.
They're down and 8 now for Heath Schuler. And the flat, wide open Garner. This is going to be something to stop. He may have wiggled his way close to a first down. He's inside the 30-yard line of Kentucky.
Well, it's going to be close, but I think he's short. Tennessee's going to have to call a timeout. I would suspect in this situation they will have to go for it, considering how bad Kentucky's offense has been in the game.
Let's go to Mike Tirico. Mike, you got a full slate for us at halftime, don't you?
One, David Gordon. Remember he missed one against Northwestern earlier this year? Well, he kicked the game-winning field goal.
Well, last year Notre Dame beat them 54-7, and Notre Dame, as we said before, favored by 15 points today.
A touchdown Jesus took a week off down there, I guess, huh? You can't get up every week. What a big win. Well, all the talk about the rematch turned out to be a bunch of talk about nothing, you know.
Now who's number one? Who's
school?
St. Ignatius High School. But this is great, isn't it? This, on a traditional day like today, rivalry Saturday, to have all these big games being decided by teams you wouldn't expect to win.
Yeah, well, it is. And this is, I think, a key play in this game right here. Tennessee, in 3 games earlier against Florida, Georgia, and Louisville, scored in the last drive and a half and really were big touchdowns. This will be a big stop for Kentucky if they can keep Tennessee out of the end zone.
It's 4th and 1 for Tennessee. Little man Stewart goes airborne, picks up the first down.
Quickly now, with 1:21, they only have 1 timeout left. They should get up under the center now. If they haven't have 2 plays called, call it at the line of scrimmage or throw it down. You'll see little man take the thing and get up and be a big man.
Yeah. Real big man. Schuler has got 4 wide receivers and a single back. They got a first down. the 15-yard line.
Craig Faulkner that time just going down about 8 yards, hooking, and Schuler just, I mean, it's like a laser beam from his hand to Faulkner, just right there. Nobody even had a chance to move. Says he likes to watch Dan Marino throw the ball, and you know, he's running this 2-minute offense like a Dan Marino right now.
10-0 Tennessee just before the half. Schuler on the fly. What a block by Parker. And a gain of perhaps 5 by Schuler, but Garner knocked somebody head over heels like a rag doll.
It was Marty Moore, but Marty Moore plays at such a high level of intensity.
Watch this.
He was going to try to just leap over the blocker. Watch Marty Moore, and Garner just takes his feet out.
And here's a completion on the 2nd down and 7 down to the 6. Faulkner again, the receiver. And they're going to be shy of a first down by about a yard. Let's see where they spot it. Inside the 6.
10-0, 30 seconds to go. A huge stop needed for the Kentucky defense.
Tennessee's got 1 timeout. Like a battering ram. Garner digging, turning, touchdown, Tennessee. What a play! That was sensational.
Charlie Garner's averaged 6.7 yards a carry, and you'd think it's all with big runs. Well, this is a short run that shows you that he has power. I don't think the ball ever crossed the goal line, though.
He lost it. He lost the ball. Becksford's extra point is good. He has now kicked 47 of 47 this year and 110 consecutive PAT.
Yeah, more important than Charlie Garner losing the ball is the referees lost the ball on this touchdown play because the ball never crossed the goal line. It's not your helmet. It's not your body. The ball has to go across the goal line. Nice play right here. Great power from Charlie Garner inside. Spins off, but starts to lose the ball just before he crosses the line. And I don't think he made it. That angle wasn't a great angle of it right there. You saw his great running and power, though he didn't get a real good look at the football.
Garner scores his 7th touchdown. Here's a better angle at it.
Coming right at you this time. You'll see the ball go down just before he gets to the goal line. You can see it. It never crossed the line.
Nonetheless, Tennessee leads it 17-0. 10-play drive, and Schuler on that drive was 5 of 6, and Garner already is over 100 yards today in the first half. Becksford the punt, the kickoff, and it's on the ground. Picked up by the tight end Samuels. And he lumbers his way out near the 41-yard line of Kentucky. Clock at 9 seconds. Kentucky's got 2 timeouts remaining. Tennessee has but 1. And coming up at halftime, Mike Tirico, the coach Lee Corso. 5 wide receivers for Pookie Jones. 9 seconds left in the first half. Quarterback draw. Calls a timeout after he picks up about 5 as he staggers out to the 46-yard line. He probably thrown a little bit earlier, but again, the secondary of Tennessee was there with blanket coverage.
Well, they were just playing a very deep zone that time, and there was really no one open to throw to. I think in this situation, Kentucky of trying to get a cheap touchdown at the end of the half. Dominating defense from Tennessee. Kentucky dodged a few bullets early in this half, but late Keith Schuler took over it. Charlie Garner, I mean, every time you give that ball, he has a potential of scoring for you.
There's Heath Schuler, who's got a touchdown pass today. From Bryson City, as we said before. The reason why he chose Tennessee was because it was the closest big school to his home, which is 80 miles away from Knoxville.
Yeah, he said his parents really let him make the decision, and it's a big decision for a young 17, 18-year-old person to make, but he said, my parents had a favorite, and I didn't know until after I chose that Tennessee was their favorite spot.
He was the kid. His second choice was Alabama. He said the hardest thing he's ever had to do was tell Coach Stallings down in Tuscaloosa that he was not going to go to Alabama.
I think we're going to see the Big Ben type play. Throw the ball as far as you can and look for the tip.
1 second left. 5 wide receivers. And Jason Pookie Jones is down. That'll end the first half of play. Tackle made by James Wilson. Heath Schuler with a touchdown pass and a 17-point lead at halftime will take his team to the locker room. Tennessee needing a win today to stay in the Florida Citrus Bowl picture. At halftime, the Volunteers 17, the Wildcats nothing. Tennessee on top of 17-0 at halftime with Rick Walker and Gary Danielson. Kevin Harlan from Lexington, Kentucky. Wildcats have built up a deficit that they've got to come back and try to eat up here in the second half. Look at the first downs, passing yards, rushing yards, all in favor of Tennessee. Gary, in that first half.
Pretty much of a dominance, I think, by Tennessee, and they're doing it with their outstanding quarterback. And you have to give the Tennessee defense credit also. They've bottled up the Kentucky offense, but the Kentucky offense has been bottled up the last 2 weeks also. So they need to step up and make some plays.
Corey Fleming, deep back for the Volunteers of Tennessee. And he'll circle under the ball inside the 10. Under the 20. Kyle knocking him down. He's on near the 23, 24-yard line. There's Heath Schuler. His passing in the first half was a story, especially on that last drive, 5 of 6. But what does this tell you about his day?
Well, it means it's tough to. How do you play defense against this guy? He's accurate all over the field. 3 of 4, 4 of 4, goes down the middle. I mean, he is able to make all the throws and accurately. That was what he was wanting to work on, is throwing the ball accurately. And you can see he throws it all over the field. And believe me, he can hit those 2 outside parts of the field too. He just hasn't thrown it there yet.
Charlie Garner, and he's whacked after gain to the 26-yard line. David Snarden, a sophomore from Louisville, makes the stop for the Kentucky defense, which has been a big story in this game.
Well, it really has. I think they played pretty good defense. They do not have the athletes to match up man-to-man. They've stayed in the game, but they have not got much help from their offense. And Mike Archer is pulling out all the stops. He's given up on the blitz. He got burned with the blitz, so he's really been changing up 3-man line and 4-man line and giving a bunch of different looks to Heath Schuler.
2nd and 7 now for Schuler. Little play action. As he rolls, he throws. Out of bounds. Pass to the far side. Incomplete. Rick, what do you have for us on the sideline?
Well, guys, don't be surprised to see Heath Schuler and company continue to throw the football. They vowed on the sideline that they would not sit on the ball. They want to turn the score up. On the other side, Bill Curry was adamant that his team was out hit. They were passive in the first half, and the key to their success is to come out and block the middle linebacker. They have got to force the Tennessee free safety to get involved in the run stoppage. If so, they'll be able to throw.
Bill Curry and his defense facing 3rd and 7. And all kinds of receivers with which to work. He hits his brother, Benji Schuler.
And Donnie Robinson did a nice job that time. Benji Schuler, just a true freshman, coming in there and making the catch on that one. But Robinson, who got beat earlier by Fleming, closed on the hot receiver that time and made the tackle. You'll see Schuler looks right, comes back, hits his brother, and Robinson is right there to make the play and force a punt.
First 3 and out for Tennessee tonight. Hutton. It's a punt once again for the Volunteers. Here they got a rush on him. Riazzi with the catch, 34-yard line. Broke a tackle, and he's out to the 42. Punt of 36 yards, a return of 7. And some nice field position for Kentucky. There's Darrell Dickey, their offensive coordinator, taking it for the first time in the second half. And there's his father, the athletic director at Tennessee, Doug Dickey.
Yeah, and you know he's got to have mixed emotions. He knows how important a win is for Tennessee, and he also has to know how important a win would be for his son, Darrell. And, boy, I wouldn't want to call that one up there. He's nervous no matter what happens.
I was going to say, he probably doesn't rest all that often. He's a 1st and 10 out of the stack out. And the first back through is Damon Hood.
I'll tell you, it does not look pretty doing that, but that is what Kentucky must do early in this first half, is run the ball at the middle. We talked about that Kentucky had to block Reggie Ingram, the middle linebacker. It's not really a big secret. The Kentucky coaches saw the same thing. If they don't account for him and don't force him to tackle the fullback, nothing else will work.
Deepest penetration today by Kentucky. They got a 2nd down and 5. first down. And he's inside the Tennessee 43. Jason Parker made the stop. The line is controlling now for the Kentucky offense.
And the key is they're not able to run outside unless they get a hat on the middle linebacker and establish the fullback. This time, one of the offensive linemen free up. It's number 76, Mark Askin. He puts his helmet on the middle linebacker. And when you can account for that guy, you can run the ball inside. That'll be the key to establishing some first downs and try to put some points on the board.
First time in Tennessee territory tonight for Kentucky. Play action by Pookie Jones. And the reception made across the way by Mark Chapman. First reception today by a Tennessee receiver, by a Kentucky receiver, excuse me.
Well, Chapman has man-to-man coverage the whole time back there. You see Ronald Davis, who, by the way, was a wide receiver last year, caught a touchdown pass for Tennessee in the Hall of Fame game. He's man-to-man coverage outside on Chapman, and they really have to try to take advantage of that. The time they threw it earlier in the first half, Pookie was wide with the throw and didn't complete it.
Second down and 2 for Kentucky. It goes to Alfonso Browning. The guy who's been used more in the passing attack than running, but the senior from San Francisco picks up a first down. And a nice drive here by the Kentucky offense.
You know what's been key in this football game also, I'll admit that Tennessee has dominated the game, but they've done it on first down. They've averaged 8 yards on first down. Kentucky only 3 yards. With that completed pass that Pookie Jones threw on first down, that's what's going to allow them to make first down.
Pookie Jones slithers down to about the 27.
We talked about running the ball inside, then you fake it and get the ball outside, still a positive play. But Tennessee is really selling out their defense because they're putting their corners all over the field with no help on those single wide receiver. Kentucky has to be able to take advantage of that outside. Deron Jacobs, number 19, has Chapman all over the field.
Second down and 8. Quick hitter. Damon Hood near the 25.
Paul Yatkowski and Shane Bonham are the two defensive tackles, Kevin, inside. Those two guys are probably, you know, they're not a big defensive line for Tennessee. They only go 250, 260 throughout that whole defensive line. But Yatkowski is really an interesting guy. I mean, he's a guy that's already been drafted number 3 in the entire draft for pro football. Well, Canadian pro football. Drafted as a junior. He's 3rd pick overall. And the reason is he's from Canada.
Big play now, 3rd and 6 for the Wildcats. And they give it off to Damon Hood. And he'll be about a yard shy of the first down. Maybe 2 yards. He had to get down to the 21. This game has drawn a great deal of attention in the Southeast, as you can see. A big game for Kentucky, of course, considering they're headed to a bowl in all likelihood. Tennessee comes to town. Man, things are shaking up. They're going to try a field goal, Kentucky will. Nicky Nichols will try a 40-yard field goal. This would be the longest of the season for him. No good.
Well, how ironic at the University of Kentucky, long-range three-pointers that are usually put it in the bank did not get good that time.
We are late in the 3rd quarter in Lexington, Kentucky. Number 7 Tennessee coming into tonight with a record of 7-1-1, shutting out the Kentucky Wildcats. Closer game than we thought. Remember now, Tennessee is 4th in scoring in NCAA football. They are averaging over 40 a game, mainly because of Heath Stewart, the quarterback. And this guy, Charlie Gardner, big hole, big play by the 40, breaking tackle, spinning by the 45. And he's out to the 48-yard line, finally taken down by Jim Brown, a pickup of 24 yards.
This guy's got legs and elbows and arms moving in all different directions. The offensive line gives him a little crease, pushes, nice hole there, but watch him move. Misses a tackle right there, and really never has to slow down to put those little fakes and jukes on. What a fun guy to watch run.
And he is a senior from Falls Church, Virginia. 5'10", 187, 143 yards tonight. And he gets the call again. Spinning for a yard when he probably should have lost one. Tackle made by Deuce Williams, wearing number 2 in that Kentucky secondary.
The inside linebackers, Deuce Williams, Marty Moore, David Snarden, have to game tackle, have to be involved, and the secondary has to come up to corral him before he gets started, because once Garner gets started in the open field, he's too tough for any one guy to tackle in the open field.
2nd down 8 for Tennessee. And around, yep, here it comes. Craig Faulkner. Look at the blocking, and look at the run. We're going to say he's out of bounds back at about the 36. Out of bounds at the 36. 14-yard gain. Do you like the call?
Well, anytime you gain 20 yards on a play, it's a pretty darn good call. Watch the linemen, though. That's the key here. They block. It looks like a drop-back pass. Now watch the great athletes come out on that offensive line. These are guys that go 290, 300 pounds, and they're out there. Kevin Mays, Bubba Miller, and Jeff Smith. The interesting thing, Kevin, those guys are very young. You saw how he stepped out there. Very young, sophomores and juniors. Oldest player on the line is just a junior.
And the call to Gardner as he swirls inside the 30. Tackle made by Roger Sullivan. We saw Tyrone Wheatley last week up in Minneapolis, and we have seen Falk. Now we're seeing Gardner, and I got to say he's about as impressive as anybody.
Different runner than Ty Wheatley. I mean, this is a spinner, a lot of fakes. Ty Wheatley just kind of runs with speed, but very fast, quick change of direction back. And he hits the hole. I mean, he's full speed, one step on every play.
Second and 2, Mose Phillips picks up the first down, and then some. Look at him spin. Do his best impersonation of Charlie Garner.
I don't know when Tennessee is more dangerous, when Heath Schuler's throwing the ball to their outstanding wide receivers, or when they hand them the ball off behind that big offensive line. Really a dominating offensive line and package that Tennessee has. When David Cutcliffe said that this is the best offense that Tennessee's ever had in their history, I can see why he said that.
Now, Coach Philip Fulmer has made a career of developing NFL-type offensive linemen. And these guys have done everything tonight.
They really have. And he said that 4 of them, and probably all 5 of them, will play pro football.
It off Billy Williams. And he takes it inside the 20. And maybe to the 19, 18-yard line. Marty Moore makes the stop. Marty Moore was recruited by Bill Curry when Curry was the coach at Alabama. Moore chose Kentucky. And then when Coach Curry came here, of course, he said, hey, I'm glad to see we finally got together.
Yeah, and he is just a great story about what Kentucky football is all about and what college football is all about. He's a leader, an all-SEC tackler, and Marty Moore has done a great job for the Kentucky defense.
Mose Phillips again. Wow. He was drilled from the secondary by Melvin Johnson. Johnson missed the first portion of the season with a broken forearm, but has come on and really sparkled.
They like to liken him to a Steve Atwater coming up from the secondary, and you can see why with this hit. Perfect form, comes up right underneath the chin and delivers and holds on. Big hit by about 195-pound secondary free safety play.
On the shotgun now. 8th play of the drive for Schuler. Rips it down the middle. It's caught for a first down inside the 5-yard line by Billy Williams. Schuler right on the money.
Hey, it's so nice to watch an offense that has a whole package together. Billy Williams, who's the real speed man on this football team, a little bit hurt coming into this football game, but he's a 4.3 40 guy. And when you hit a guy like that coming across the field, you have to be very accurate with it. And Heath Schuler has been accurate with all of his throws tonight.
First and 10.
Now personal foul called against Kentucky. Rather by, it's on Tennessee.
Yeah, a late hit, and that's going to be a 1st and 10 play, though. They're going to, I believe they're going to pick up the first down and take a 1st and 10 from there.
Yes.
See the end of the play. Billy Williams is rushing, coming across. It's hit for the first down, but there you saw the late hit from the player trying to clean up across the play.
4 receivers for Schuler, but it throws the other way. It's Corey Fleming. He's going to go in for a touchdown. Corey Fleming has caught his 2nd touchdown pass today.
Well, he's the all-time leader for touchdown passes. That's his 11th touchdown pass this season. He passed Alvin Harper, but this is a screen. Rolling one way, throws back. You can see the 3 offensive linemen, moves inside to sets up his blocks, and then his speed takes him to the outside. The former high school quarterback, and he has a great ability to read the blocking and run with the football after the catch.
Extra point is good by Bexford. Corey Fleming, 2 touchdown catches today. He has been some kind of receiver to watch. From wide receiver U, Tennessee on top. Well, they're going to retape Corey Fleming, who just caught his 2nd touchdown pass. We mentioned before, wide receiver U. They've had Willie Galt, Reggie Harper, Richmond Flowers, Alvin Harper, Anthony Hancock. I mean, they've had some great ones, and Schuler got his 2nd touchdown pass tonight.
Yeah, 2nd touchdown pass, so he is the career record holder for touchdown passes at Tennessee now with 18. Quite an accomplishment, but there haven't been a lot of quarterbacks that could throw the ball like this guy does to you.
He's something. And the kickoff rolls inside the 15. Clyde Rudolph is taken down at about the 23-yard line. Let's go back to our college football studios and bring back in Mike Tirico. And an orange, sugar, or cotton bowl bid with the win today. That's a big game for both teams, but Miami has a lot on the line. That's a snap right to the running back, Mo Williams. And he fumbles the ball at the 39, or rather 29-yard line. That's recovered by Tennessee. And picked up on the play by Ben Talley. First turnover today.
We used to call this a snatch play. Snatch right direct to the running back, Mo Williams. This time runs inside. A year ago, you see Ben Talley is the guy that caused it, and he's the one who ends up with it. A year ago, Kentucky had 5 turnovers in losing to Tennessee. They haven't had the turnovers tonight, but their offense has not been able to generate anything. You can see how Tennessee's defense and offense has been doing it this year. Plus 13, best in the SEC this year, and you know, with the power they have on offense, they turn all these turnovers into points.
Wheeler with the 1st and 10. They'll be sacked again by the Kentucky defense. Eric Wright, a freshman, number 42, makes the stop. He plays some linebacker at 5'10", 185, and he also plays some secondary positions.
Yeah, he was forced to start last week against East Carolina because of an injury to Deuce Williams. Went to school at Massillon, Ohio, and you know, he's just had to step up and play, even though the size differential, 5'10", as you said, 185 pounds playing linebacker.
In the Southeast Conference.
Yeah, he better be ready to catch some of these big tackles now.
Second out and 17. Little screen pass caught by Stewart. He's inside the 30. And he picks up probably 6-7 yards on the play, depending on the spot. James Stewart, Morristown, Tennessee, 6'1", 210. There's Heath Schuler. First name really is Joseph. Joseph Heath Schuler. Dad is a mailman. Mom is runs a yogurt store in Bryson City, and they get to see all his home games down in Knoxville. I'm sure they're here today.
Right. Is that a low-fat yogurt store?
Idea. They're down in 10 on the shotgun. What a pass. Low and caught. Oh, they're going to say he dropped it at the 15-yard line. And he almost picked on his wide receiver, Nilo Sylvan, down the middle. Mike Tirico, come on in.
After a Wayne Cook
Meetings with those two teams. Here's a field goal attempt now of 46 yards by Bexford. He's got the distance. Good. His second today.
I don't know if you're going to see very many more balanced teams than this Tennessee offense has. Their special teams are also solid, and they put 3 more points on the board.
Commonwealth Stadium, Lexington, Kentucky. And the Tennessee Volunteers have gone up 27-0 on the Wildcats of Kentucky, and Bill Curry's defense has done a pretty good job today. It's been his offense that has been the problem.
Yeah, but now it seems that Tennessee has found their groove, and I would say that they're put points on the board pretty regularly now.
They return the ball, Clyde Rudolph. Look at this. They can't bring him down to the 50-yard line. A return of 38 yards, tackle made by David Horn and Nilo Sylvan.
Well, Rudolph on this one just got ahead of steam going, and he takes him.
And it gives Kentucky the best beginning field position tonight. From midfield, 1st and 10. And the handoff goes to Riazzi. Up the middle he goes. Out of the sideline now, Rick Walker. Rick.
Kevin Rudolph had good footing on that return, but the MVP is Bucky. You only got 3 hours sleep the past 72 hours. How about the whole crew?
Well, they're not much more than I did. They take a lot of pride in this, and of course everybody was disappointed last week in how the field responded. So it was a big goal for us to get it in good shape for this week.
Okay, well, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Rick. Incomplete pass, trying to stretch out that defense. I see a flag thrown out about the 27-yard line. One from Mark Chapman with the coverage applied by Ronald Davis.
Like they're going to grab a hold on him. You know, speaking of that field, Kentucky's field has always been very good here, but the change has been Nutter Field right there. Their indoor facility kind of disrupted the underground flow of the streams, caused the field to sink a little bit, and really they have some major problems here with their, grass field, and it's all because of the indoor facility right there in the end zone.
Well, I noticed walking across the field before the game, there's no crown on the field.
It's sunk a little bit, and it's changed the underground flow of the grass. Now, that's what I've been told, at least, so you got to believe it.
You sound like George Tillman to me.
That's right.
Run around. Rudolph. Boy, it's not going to fake out Tennessee, but he broke it out. And they whack him out of bounds.
They're also going to get 15 yards tacked on the end of it, too, because hitting him outside the playing field. Rudolph was able to run through another couple tackles. He looks like he has some good ability. Very tough to run reverses when you're down 27
After
points.
play is over, personal foul, defense, 15 yards.
Well, it has been a while since this Kentucky team has beaten Tennessee back to 1984.
Right at the end of the play, you'll see Rudolph go out of bounds. And actually, the player, I think it was Reggie Ingram, tried to stop, but I think he got pushed from behind by one of his own players also trying to stop. And it was an unfortunate but not intentional penalty.
There's the middle linebacker, Ingram. Knock him out. They found yards today, Kentucky has. Pookie Jones. And Pookie goes down to about the 13, 14-yard line. Tackle made by Jason Parker. Third leading tackler on this team, number 7. And also getting some help from Raymond Austin.
Yeah, Raymond Austin and Jason Parker are the guys. One of them is a true sophomore and the other is a true freshman. Jason Parker played last year, started 8 games as a freshman, and this year Raymond Austin is a guy who recruited Tennessee, number 28, to come here. Really wasn't highly recruited either by Tennessee until he said, hey, I want to go there.
Second down and 6. Hood. And he carves out a couple of the 8s. Maybe the 9. Let's see where they shot the ball. Maybe his progress wasn't as far as got or appeared to go with that knee falling down. They just marked it down inside the down to the 9. As we wind down the third quarter.
Well, this is the first time Tennessee's had the scoring opportunity inside the 20-yard line, and let's see what they come up. I would say they're going to run option football to the wide side of the field.
3rd down and 4. Oh, Williams. He's inside the 5 and close to a first down.
Well, you can see why Bill Curry just eyes lit up when he talked about Mo Williams. Mo Williams came to Kentucky, a highly recruited football player. Had a fumble earlier, but out of the eye this time they run isolation, and he spins and turns and gets upfield, runs through Jason Parker, and fights for the first down. Just a freshman. He's going to be around here for 3 more years. True freshman, averaging close to 6 yards a carry against Tennessee tonight. He just hasn't had the space to really show what he can do, Kevin.
He is the 3rd leading freshman running back in college football. And a good one. Mo Williams from Columbus, Georgia. Williams. Tackle made by Jason Parker. Rode him down like a rodeo cowboy. And the loss is back to about the 9-yard line. Third quarter has come to a close. Kentucky with their biggest threat tonight scoring. But it's been all Tennessee, 27-0. With the 27-0 lead as we start the 4th quarter from Commonwealth Stadium, Lexington, Kentucky. Kentucky is on a nice drive right now. Upcoming is the 7th play for Pookie Jones in the Wildcat offense. And he shifts into the gun. He's got the tight end Sanders. He's down to about the 6.
I'll tell you, great hustle by the defensive line for Tennessee that time. They rushed the passer, and after the ball was thrown, all 4 of them came back and helped out on the tackle. That's the type of effort that I know defensive coordinators love. Larry Marmie, the defensive coordinator for Tennessee, really has to be happy with the effort from his front 4 on that play.
Great secondary, strong linebacking core for the Volunteers. On the 6, 3rd and goal. And again from the shotgun. This is where Jones is most dangerous. He did a heck of a job getting down to the 3-yard line.
He really couldn't throw to anybody. There wasn't enough room to throw deep, so he had to keep scrambling, trying to make it into the end zone himself. Pookie has been hurt all year. This is as healthy as he's been all year, and having to scramble like that the rest of the game, he might not be healthy any longer.
Left ankle, partial right shoulder dislocation, bruised ribs. He's had it all, and he has it right now.
He's had a great career here also. He's 2nd career total offense in Kentucky career, so, you know, he is a good quality quarterback.
4th and goal from the 3. Tennessee trying to preserve the shutout. Timeout, Jones. You saw something he didn't like?
Well, yeah, that was the time clock. He just got down a little bit too long, and he had to take the timeout.
First time Tennessee's been tested like this tonight.
Yeah, it really has. It's been the Larry Marmie has to be happy. The guy in the middle of your screen with the glasses, defensive coordinator for Tennessee, has to be happy with his defense against this stack eye option. This is the first down. This is the first time they have threatened to score. You see, Kentucky changed up and came back with the shotgun.
It's intercepted. It hit him on the left knee.
And
was picked up, yeah.
Yatkowski, a defensive lineman, is a guy. Remember, we talked about on a play early how they hustle back after the ball is thrown. When you hustle, good things happen to you. Pookie tried to hit a slant. Coming from the outside, from the right side, he tried to hit Browning. Coming from the right side. Yudkowski sees the ball thrown, comes off his hip, and when you hustle to make the play, there you go. You got to give. Turn around and give the ball back.
And you don't want to build up the importance of what that touchdown would have meant for Kentucky, but mentally it would have done a lot confidence-wise and made more of a statement.
Well, even more than that, you know, a lot about this Kentucky program is about expectations and what people expected in this football game. I heard a lot of people talking in the press box that maybe Kentucky couldn't win this game, but they had to play well against Tennessee today to improve the program.
Gardner with the big run. We run it out to Mike Tirico. Mike?
Kevin.
Virginia must still play Boston College, who beat Notre Dame today, and that's going to be interesting on this 2nd down and 2. It's Gardner once again. 1st down and then some.
Well, that West Virginia-Boston College game we will have on ESPN Friday following Thanksgiving. So that will be a big game should West Virginia hold on.
All right, if West Virginia would go on to beat Miami, then Boston College finishes the Big East champs. They still might have an outside chance to be the team to look at.
Hey, I tell you, I'd rather explain what impacts of NAFTA would have on the United States than explain the bowl picture.
That Boston College win today, a big one. The pitch out goes to Gene Stewart. And he bulldozes his way over the side. He doesn't have many hellos on his trip. He just puts his head down, and he's like a battering ram. Taking it out. Got the side you can see stuck up in his face mask. He is a player. Rick, what do you have downstairs for us?
Well, just give me a little insight on the volunteer sideline. Charlie Garner, I asked him, I said, what's the key to your success? Can you continue this? He says, our big offensive line. They have allowed me to not only run between the tackles, but given Heath Schuler enough time to throw. With these guys, nobody can stop me.
Now, Rick, we have seen Wheatley and Falk. I mean, what do you think of Gardner? You've seen a lot of football. What do you think of him?
Real impressive. I got a chance to watch this young man in high school in Falls Church, Virginia, and he has real quick side. What really impressed me is the fact that he runs in between the tackles real well, despite the fact he's not a real big guy. Quick feet, acceleration, and he's tough.
I would agree with that. He starts so fast, and he's got a great spin move on top of that. But, you know, to credit the offensive line, that's pretty smart. Intelligent guy, too.
1st down and 10. Schuler getting some blocking. Look at that arm strength. It's intercepted. Picked off on the play by Stephen Hall on the deflection. Hall gets a block and swirls his way to midfield. It was intended for Nilo Silva.
The ball was picked off, but you have to love the athletic quality of Heath Schuler on this throw. He's running full speed to his right, doesn't even slow down and set his feet, just rips it off of his right foot and ball a little bit high, but that shows the ability that Heath Schuler has. You know, it's like a jigsaw puzzle, this Tennessee offense. Schuler's big. The offensive line's big. They got great wide receivers and a tailback. You know, the reason it all works is because they've got it all.
And that kid has it all right there. Heath Schuler. Tennessee turnover tonight. And Pookie Jones in Kentucky. 1st and 10. Jones wants to throw, but Tennessee's defense is going to push him all over the field. Pass was intended for running back Maurice Williams.
Yeah, Nick Jester that time had him in his grasp, but Pookie Jones coming from the left side of the screen. You're going to see the fake of the option. Kind of wraps him up that time, number 45, but Pookie Jones is able to run away from him. Kind of rips his number off. I didn't even know they sewed him on like that.
Yeah,
I thought they were part of the jersey.
Well, one of the reasons why they sew that's number 16. You know who wore number 16 here in Kentucky?
Right. Babe Pirelli, Vito Babe Pirelli.
And George Blanda.
And George Blanda, too. Yeah. Big number.
2nd down and 10. Movie gets another block. It's back to the line of scrimmage. Number 16, George Blanda. He played here at Kentucky from 45 to 47. What were you telling me the other day about the number one reason why kids choose a particular school?
Yeah, I've heard that when coaches have looked to why different high school recruits will decide to go to different ways. You should look at Pookie Jones' number. I think Blanda's trying to get that number back. He said, hey, this baby's retired. It's tradition. The tradition of the schools, what they've done in the past. It's not the coaches. It's not where they can play, who's starting there. It's what has been done at that school in the past.
3rd and 9 for Kentucky. Oh, knocked down. Big play made by
That's one of the great things that Tennessee has done in their program is find a spot for their athletes to play. Shane Burton played tight end a year ago. He has great athletic ability. They moved him to defensive end. He's showing what he can do from that spot. 6'5". He has the height and the size to be a factor on the outside. And I think, you know, they moved Ronald Davis around. They've moved a lot of offensive linemen. 3 of the offensive linemen had played defensive line as freshmen. They seem to find a spot for their best athlete to get on the field.
Big down to Mo Williams. He did not get the first down. He had to get down to the 41, and he's out to the 44. That was a 4th down play, so on downs it goes back over to the Tennessee Volunteers. See what they're going to do at quarterback. They will keep in Heath Shuler as Mike Archer has a final word with his Wildcats, who trail 27-0. Ball, they've got the lead. A couple touchdown passes by Heath Shuler, who is once again sparkled as the quarterback for the Volunteers tonight. Gary Danielson, Rick Walker, Kevin Harlan from Lexington. A chilly night, very comfortable to watch college football. Pitch out to Garner, got a block, it's another, falls into space, look at him fly. Down the sideline inside the 40. Gain of 17 on the play. He might get 200. There's Heath Shuler. There's speculation that Shuler could be the first pick of the NFL draft this year. He and Coach Fulmer talked about entering the draft a year early.
I think the money will be there regardless. It comes down to whether you want to risk an injury. That's something that I'll have to deal with personally, and I'll make a decision at the end of the season. But as far as the team is concerned now, I've made a decision, but you know, let's not be real irrational about it.
Heath has a lot of great qualities, but probably the greatest quality is he's very, very truthful. And if Heath Shuler says he's staying, then I believe that he's staying.
Well, we don't know. He told us last night he probably would say, but he wants to wait till the season is over. I guess the interesting thing is, why didn't they redshirt him as a freshman?
Well, that's one of the things you have to look at. You know, he's a true junior right now. He played as a freshman, and if he was a redshirt sophomore right now, it'd be a lot tougher for him, I believe, to turn pro. Remember, his freshman year, he only threw 4 passes, 2 for 4. That's a big decision that was made his freshman year. We asked Coach Fulmer about it, and he said, Heath wanted to play. I had to get him in there. He just wanted to get on the football field.
Speaking of getting on the football field, here's Stewart again. He gets another first down for Coach Fulmer.
You know, I agree with Coach Fulmer, though, about Heath Shuler. I've spoken to a lot of athletes before, but the honesty that Heath Shuler answers your questions, I mean, there's really not a lot of thought behind his answers, and I don't mean that he's not being he's just so honest. When you ask him a question, he just looks you in the eye and answers it so honestly, you really believe what he's saying. He's going to make his decision at the end of the year.
It off in the flat, a little bit short. Caught by tight end John Sartell. That's his 2nd reception of the season. Shuler told us last night that he watches a lot of tape of Dan Marino. Why?
Well, he wants to make $5 million a year.
Aside from the obvious, yeah. Aside from the obvious.
Well, he's working on a quick release, and it was kind of interesting what he told us. He felt that Marino's quick release was because of his lower body, not of his arm. He said he clears his hips very quickly before he throws the ball, and Shuler's been working on that. And, you know, if you want to emulate a guy with a quick release, I can't think of anybody better than Dan Marino. I think Marino would like to imitate how Shuler runs, though.
The athleticism. 2nd down and 9. Timeout by Shuler. Play clock and wound down to 3. And Shuler, great athlete that he is, has developed more and more into a quarterback, and he leads Tennessee over Kentucky tonight, here on a chilly night in the Commonwealth. Scary trying to hold on to this shutout over Kentucky.
Right now, Kentucky's trying to hold on to the ball and probably put some more points on the board. You take another look at the brain trust for Tennessee in the middle of that screen. Larry Marmie, defensive coordinator in his 2nd year at Tennessee, has to be pleased with his defense tonight. I mean, they have been dominating, and on offense, it seems like every play that Tennessee wants to run can work. It's sometimes they throw it a little short, and sometimes they don't run it exactly for a first down, but they are very impressive.
With the 2nd down and 9.
Comes the blitz.
Marching for the end zone. He's got a receiver touchdown. Hey, to his brother, Benji. Or was it Joey Kent? Let's see. Joey Kent. I saw the one. I thought it may have been his brother.
Well, Joey Kent, Heath Schuler saw the blitz coming, just laid it up, and we've talked about his arm strength. That time he just put it real high in the air and let Kent run under the football. He could see the blitz was coming. Look at the touch on this football. Perfect smile, right in stride. That's a big-time throw.
Big-time throw, and Kent makes his 3rd touchdown reception of the season. And Heath Schuler with another touchdown pass tonight. Extra point, good. Kent lassos, but that pass couldn't have been more perfect.
No, he put so much air under it, and that's the thing. He did not throw it wide. He gave the receiver plenty of time to run under it. And we talked about his hips and releasing those hips. That's really the key to power and quickness, is to let him go. Turn those hips away, come up onto that front foot, throw it up, put plenty of air under it, and let the speed just take over from there, those receivers. Look how the nose of the football turns over and sinks right in there for a perfect throw. That's execution by an All-American quarterback. I know Charlie Ward's the big-time guy this year, but this player is as good as you'll ever see playing quarterback in college football.
And we talked to him last night about who his idols were growing up in Bryson City with Montana. And he said, no, but the guy I admired the most was a quarterback in North Carolina, a kid named Mark May, because May and some other people in the Charlotte area would run a quarterback camp all the time. And he got to know Mark May, and they've kept up a huge relationship over the years, talking many times throughout the season.
And that's nice. And that's one of the things Coach Fulmer has said about Heath. You know, everybody loves him as a quarterback. With those types of statistics he has right there, you can't help but love that type of a guy. But what Fulmer said is you like him even more when you meet him and get to know him. And that's a great tribute to a person, not just an athlete.
Randy Wyatt rambling up the inside. Well, in college football today, it has been one of those days on this rivalry Saturday.
I really was not surprised by the Michigan-Ohio State game. I was surprised by the margin, but Michigan has found themselves again. I figured that they would play Ohio State very tough, especially at home. That Wisconsin game now with Michigan State in 2 weeks in Tokyo. How ironic is that? The Big Ten out of the Midwest is going to be determining their Rose Bowl participant in Tokyo.
You did see that West Virginia beat Miami.
West Virginia it's a final score.
Yes. Wow. New quarterback now for Kentucky, Jeff Speedy. And he used Speedy. Look at this. And he ran into the coach. Was that Philip Fulmer? He just collided into on the sideline.
I think that was the head coach that got him a little lick right there. Coach Fulmer, he's tied up with so many wires. They're going to run the option to the short side of the field this time. You can see him tackle the fullback. Browning gets a good block by. Now watch Speedy when he goes out of bounds. Hey, Coach, come on.
Well, Phil Fulmer played offensive guard back in the early 70s for Tennessee, so he's had his
I don't think
knocks over the years. Huh?
Coach is too happy with the 34-0 lead to even worry about that.
Speedy with that stack eye. Throws it on the sideline, incomplete. Never an incompletion when we throw it to Mike Tirico. Mike.
Kevin, you mentioned the West Virginia final. Here's what...
A visit to that game. Of course, that's awarded to college football's national champion, voted by the coaches. So, I mean, the story thickens minute by minute, doesn't it?
Well, it is going to be interesting, the voting this week. You know, Florida State obviously is going to be in the mix. But when you have Nebraska and West Virginia undefeated on the board right there, and Notre Dame beat Florida State, it might hurt Florida State more than anyone in this big weekend right here.
Third and a couple now for Kentucky. Speedy got the first down. He's only played in the Mississippi State game prior to this. Their backup, Antonio O'Farrell, is out with an injury. He normally would back up the starting quarterback, Pookie Jones.
Yeah, and the option, Jeff, is a good runner of the option football, and this is what they really needed. He doesn't have the passing ability, but to make their option football go, they needed the speed for him to get outside of the line of scrimmage. But I think Tennessee's lost a little bit of edge in this game right now, looking at the scoreboard.
And a timeout on 1st and 10. Play clock was down to 5. There's Pookie Jones, a quarterback for Kentucky, who started tonight. Tennessee holding on to that shutout of the Kentucky offense, 34-0 Volunteers.
And a real tribute to his career here at Kentucky. 32 consecutive starts from Marty Mack.
10 for the Wildcats, who have gone scoreless today. Speedy keeps it himself, and he is absolutely caved in on by a host of defenders, namely Steve White, number 64. They are happy on the Tennessee sidelines because this could be win number 8. Are they going to the Florida Citrus Bowl, you think?
Well, and that's where it looks like they're going to end up. I mean, it's possible that they could be meeting Ohio State. That would be a nice matchup in that game. You know, the interesting thing about the SEC conference is that Auburn and Tennessee have an argument. I mean, they might be the 2 highest rated teams in this conference, and neither will be representing their conference because they won't make it to the playoff game.
Second down and 13. End around. Flea flicker. Mo Williams on the near side. He'll go back the other way. He's got blockers, and he's got room on a block by Samuels. After all that, they pick up 4 yards. Let's go to Mike Tirico. Mike won 8 of the last 9 battles with that team.
I'll tell you, Lee Corso just made a big jump out of his seat with that interception since he already put UCLA in the Rose Bowl a week ago.
I'll have to get Rick Walker's thoughts here just a second on UCLA. 39 now for Kentucky from the gun. Speedy. And out of bounds at about the 31. Rick, what do you have for us downstairs?
Well, tickled to death that the UCLA Bruins will make it back to the Rose Bowl, as you mentioned. Also, you know, in the National Football League, when a running back picks up 1,000 yards, he usually takes his offensive lineman out and buys him Rolexes. So I went to Charlie Gardner. I said, hey, guy, what are you going to do for your offensive line? He said he was going to take him to the Copper Cellar, an exclusive restaurant in Knoxville, and he said I'll spare no expenses.
I like it. Where are you going to take me and Gary after the game?
Oh, yeah, Taco Bell.
Right, okay. We're down at 2. Went to the running back. And it went to Randy Wyatt, and he picks up the first down inside the 29-yard line. Like we said on this rivalry Saturday, a lot of bowl pictures either have gotten more clear or more cloudy. I don't know in some of these cases.
Well, right now, it's going to be Alabama versus Florida for the Sugar Bowl because that's who the 2 teams are going to play in the playoff game for the SEC. And Florida Citrus, I mean, they can take the SEC runner or the top-ranked SEC team, and that's where Tennessee putting the points up in this game really comes through. And now it opens up for either West Virginia or Wisconsin or Ohio State as the possible opponent in that game.
Well, they brought the chains out to see if Kentucky had gotten the first down. They were literally less than an inch shy, and that was a 4th down play. So the defense comes back out on for the Wildcats, and Tennessee's offense is out there, and Tennessee's got a brand new quarterback, Jerry Colquitt. Schuler's had a good day throwing touchdown passes, 3 of them. Here's Colquitt, who could probably start for a lot of teams in this conference.
Well, he hung around. You know, he and Keith Schuler battled for that job, and he had to decide whether he was going to stay, and he stuck it out and figured maybe I'll get a chance if Schuler leaves, and you know, it's a pretty good place to play for.
He wants the receiver on the near side. He's got him, and he's gone. Joey Kent, his second touchdown catch today. 70 yards.
But we talked about Colquitt. He was waiting for his opportunity. Former quarterback for Tennessee, Steve Matthews, left, now plays for Memphis State. Colquitt stays. He said, hey, I got a lot of receivers here. I'll get my chance and show when I can do it. This time he takes it to the freshman, Joey Kent. Same play that they ran last time when Heath Schuler hit him open. Joey Kent, 2 touchdowns on the same fade pass.
Wide receiver U is alive and kicking, huh?
Quarterback U and offensive line U and tailback U today.
Well, Tennessee's back to their average, 41 points.
Well, they have just so many weapons on this football team. In Kentucky, they were afraid of matching up with their wide receivers, and they were right. That is their weakness in the secondary. They don't have enough speed.
41-0 Tennessee. Locked down to 4.5 minutes remaining for Coach Bill Curry and his Wildcats, who have had a very good season. They've won their 6 games. In all likelihood headed to the Peach Bowl, but they have taken this program from literally nothing and built it up to now a bowl contending team.
You'll see Mike Archer right there. That's defensive coordinator. We looked at Bill Curry the first, and Mike Archer said he's had to have patience with this football team. This was a beaten down defense. He's talking right there to his secondary player, Van Hiles, the freshman, a true freshman who was matched up. Mike Archer talked about Van Hiles to us yesterday. He said he's going to be a great football player. He just doesn't have enough experience right now, but he said throughout our whole team, I'd have to have patience. Bill Curry, you can see him right there. We talked about his bowl record. He's got 6 wins. They're going to be going to the Peach Bowl. He still should be proud of where he's got the football team. It's just the expectations of a game like this. Could he keep it close? He's not been able to keep it close tonight.
Kickoff by Tennessee, leading 41-0. And it goes to Clyde Rudolph. And he takes it up the sideline. Residents in college football scoreboard show immediately following this game, then CFA primetime.
Today's upset is going to be Florida State, because it's going to be very hard for the voters to put Florida State in front of Notre Dame. Because you're going to have to drop Notre Dame, and how do you put Florida State ahead of Notre Dame in the rankings? I couldn't do it.
On the near side, dropped at about the 44 of Tennessee. Incomplete pass. Coverage applied on the near side with the freshman Raymond Austin on the pass. Speedy, who's your number 1?
Oh, I think there's no doubt right now you have to put Nebraska number 1 in college football. I mean, they're going to leapfrog a few people, and I think you're going to see West Virginia leapfrog some people up there. And, you know, as I said, Notre Dame may drop down to 3rd, and I see Florida State dropping all the way down to 4th, maybe 5th, because you're going to have to put, you know, West Virginia in the mix.
Second down and 10. Weaving his way by defenders. Have there been 2 more anonymous undefeated teams, though, than West Virginia and Nebraska?
Well, you know, Nebraska in the Big 8, I mean, they always kind of sneak up on you. They had some tough games early in the year, and they were edged it out. I think their win over UCLA early in the year really stands up now. People are going to have to take attention to it. They're really, if they win one more game, they're going to be playing for the national championship, but they still have to beat Oklahoma.
And on the 3rd and 3, Speedy picks it up as he takes it up near the 35-yard line for the Kentucky Wildcats. We've told you that Kentucky is rebuilding. They've come off 2 outstanding recruiting classes. Bill Curry told us, someday if they keep recruiting like this, they may be up in a top 20 position sometime.
Well, everything's here. The facilities are magnificent. You know, the academic community here is behind the football program. He told me Rick Pitino was behind the football program, unlike in the past, and he believes that everything is here to turn the program around.
Look out. Nailed by Raymond Austin. Raymond from Watson, Oklahoma. They'll run track and hurdles for this Ray track team at Tennessee that's coming.
Jeff Speedy wished he would have hurdled them that time, because he didn't. He just kind of took the hurdle down that time.
Loss on the play of about 7. Second down and 17. This whole place is clearing out pretty good here. Lexington tonight. Pitch out. Fumble on the play. Kentucky jump back on the ball. They've got it. Put outside to Donnell Gordon, a freshman from Pee Wee Valley, Kentucky. And let's go downstairs to Rick one. Rick.
Well, guys, you know by this 41-0 score that Tennessee wins the battle for the beer battle. But there's another trophy up for grabs. This is the battle for blood. Both schools, Tennessee and Kentucky, competed in donating pints of blood. And Kentucky won that 2,700 pints of blood for Kentucky, 2,300 for Tennessee. And let's face it, there are no losers with scores like that.
That's a good story. 3rd down and 20.
might have donated a few more tonight during this game.
Knocked down, almost intercepted. Almost picked off by that rangy left defensive end, Shane Burton.
Yeah, and he's got good hands because he played tight end as a true freshman. Number 84, right side right there, gives a little arm under, pushes one way, goes the other, and then jumps, times it out perfectly. Now watch him go for the ball. They wouldn't throw it to me on offense, and I can't reach it on defense.
Penalty on the play was declined by Tennessee.
The important thing for Kentucky in this game, keeping it close, was Bill Curry then could say, look, we played Tennessee close. We're just a couple players away. Son, you're the guy that could take us those 1 touchdown, 10 points away from Tennessee. When you get knocked out 41-0, you can't use that argument.
Coveted beer barrel, 4th and 20, double pass. Donnell Gordon. And he gets it out to about the 32, 33-yard line. Well, they'll take that back to Knoxville tonight. They started awarding that thing back in 1925, the old beer barrel, when Wildcat booster groups began the tradition. Barrel painted the orange, white, and blue, as you see, listing scores from each game. Last week, what did we have? We had the old brown jug.
The brown jug. You know, I like that. The Big Ten plays for water jugs, and down here in the Southeastern Conference, they got the bourbon barrel and the beer barrel. They
love it, yeah.
You know, they got a lot more fun down here in the Southeast Conference.
Britt has had one pass tonight. It's been a touchdown, 70-yard. He's back in it now for more blood. And on Eric Lane. He'll rattle out some big holes. Look at this. Inside the 10. Stephen Hall saves the touchdown possibility from Eric Lane. He is a freshman from Chestnut Ridge, New York. Gain of 26 yards.
Well, they don't have anybody else to put in. They just keep putting in. No matter who they dial tonight, the plays work. And, you know, Tennessee, their largest margin of victory over a Kentucky football team, as you look at Bill Curry encouraging his players not to give up, not to stop. 46-0 in 1938, the year they went on to win the national championship. Their coach name. Famous Coach Name.
Goal. Good block for Lane. Touchdown, Tennessee. His first touchdown of the season.
Back Tennessee. Y'all what you know good.
I don't want anybody to think that I'm downgrading Heath Schuler, because I obviously think he is a tremendous quarterback and great potential. But I don't know if Heath Schuler was playing quarterback or Heath Barr was playing quarterback. This football team is loaded, and running the ball and throwing the ball is really a joy to play quarterback for this team.
Well, we both mentioned it. They have an NFL-type offensive line. 4, maybe 5 will be going to the pros. The time they have given the quarterback, the holes they have opened up for running backs like Lane have just been absolutely terrific.
Yeah, over 500 yards total offense in this game, and they've done it any way they wanted. Fades, traps, draws, passes, throwback screens. They've run the table.
Now, when you talk about the top quarterbacks in college football, we've had one tonight. Heath Schuler talked about him. Charlie Ward. Perry Klein, he's an interesting guy. Number 3 from CW Post.
Transfer from Cal, and Steve McNair. You know, this is Mel Kiper's guys, by the way.
Right.
You know, I mean, he had the scouting report on Charlie Gardner, though, so you've got to go with Mel Kiper. He's right more often than he is wrong. And Glenn Foley is really coming on strong. And with today's big upset, you really have to take into account his abilities.
Notre Dame upset in South Bend. Michigan shuts out Ohio State. West Virginia beats Miami of Florida and Morgantown. There's Schuler. He said he wanted to end this season with the touchdown pass to his brother. Now, we got excited on the long touchdown pass here to Joey Kent, thinking it might have been Benji. We saw the one, but it was Joey Kent. But he thought that would be the highlight of his season.
It really, you really can't help but think that. I mean, he probably worked out all summer with them. One of the things when we looked at the kickoff return for Kentucky, one of the things that scouting report he gave on Benji Schuler when he was being recruited, they asked how fast he was, and when he said, well, he beat me in the 40, coaches said that's good enough.
Well, it was a day to remember in college football, and Presidents in College Football Scoreboard show is upcoming with the gang back in our college football studio. This is the place for all the highlights, all the inside information, and you know the debate will be ranging on from who's number 1 to who should go to the bowls to Who shouldn't be going out? Benji Schuler, we're just talking about him, the younger brother of Heath. Gordon. And we're down now to about 40 seconds remaining.
There's Benji Schuler. He was, Keith was kind of bragging on him last night, said he was all conference in 4 sports, and he still hasn't got a touchdown pass to him. That's the only thing he wanted to do. He was really excited about having him start tonight. He did start the game as the 3rd wide receiver.
And did catch a pass from his brother.
He's the only guy throwing when he was in there, so he had to catch it. That would be great fun, throwing to your little brother.
Second down and 6. Gordon. He gets the first down, and that should be it from Lexington tonight. Bill Curry and his team will get ready for a New Year's Eve battle, we assume, on an offer from the Peach Bowl. We heard someone from the Peach Bowl earlier tonight with Rick Walker down in the field say that Clemson could be the other team in that battle. Philip Fulmer possibly going to the Florida Citrus Bowl. Heath Schuler. Will he stay at Tennessee or will he go pro? He says he wants to stay, but he led his Tennessee team to a very impressive 48-0 win tonight. That's our final. Tennessee 48, Kentucky nothing. Stay tuned for a CFA primetime coming up. President's
in Kentucky 48-0 check it. The Vols have one more game against Vanderbilt. Should they win, the 2 highest-ranked teams will not go to the SEC championship game. Now, the 2 unbeatens, Idle, Nebraska, and in the Commonwealth, pounding Kentucky, Corey Fleming, 2 touchdown catches. Penn State beats Northwestern 40.
Off the spread formation, Heath Schuler first quarter, Corey Fleming over the middle, wide open, 7-0 Vols. In the 3rd, Schuler again looking for old number 12, and he has it. Fleming, 20 yards, good blocking, no Wildcat near him. Schuler threw 3 TD tosses. Charlie Garner added 186 on the ground as the Vols clobbered the Wildcats in Lexington. They've outscored the last 3 opponents 148-13 and are now unbeaten in the last 7.
8-0. The Vols, though, not going to be able to go to that SEC.
Your barrel is up for grabs. Heath Schuler, a big game here, hooks up with Joey Kent, corner of the end zone, 23 yards in the score. Kent had 2 touchdowns. Then Schuler, and we go move it around. How about a different target? Goes to Corey Fleming on the screen. He does most of it on his own. 19 yards for the score. Fleming had a pair of touchdowns as well. Schuler 3 touchdowns. Tennessee wins easy, 48-0. Fleming sets a Tennessee record with the 18th career touchdown catch. Charlie Garner goes over the 1,000-yard rushing mark on the year. Texas A&M.
Something new, hot, unique, and fun. We're selective, and we definitely don't have a department store look. Here you can find Israeli sterling silver with 24-karat gold jewelry, handbags to clocks, picnic baskets to mouth-blown Egyptian perfume bottles. All just neat stuff at becoming attractions.
Jim Pollard and Baskin-Robbins invite you to spruce up special occasions with delicious ice cream cake. Birthdays to holidays, they all become a little more special with ice cream cake from Baskin-Robbins. So call Jim Pollard at Baskin-Robbins. Get some great ideas on how to make your dinner desserts and big occasions even more special. Baskin-Robbins has an ice cream cake with your name on it.
It is, men. The news is not good. The competition is selling too many trucks. That's ugly. We're going to war.
We're with you, General Granny. Regency Pontiac GMC is attacking the competition with the all-new 1994 GMC trucks for only $12,990.
There's an ugly truck. That's one ugly truck that's off the street.
Get a good-looking GMC truck at Regency Pontiac GMC.
Don't you buy no ugly truck. That's an order.
This is CNN. This is a presentation of CNN Sports.
Coming up on College Coach's Corner, Boston College knocks off #1 Notre Dame and throws the upper crust of college football into chaos. West Virginia is undefeated, and Mountaineer head coach Don Nehlen joins us live to talk about his chances of a national championship, as does Terry Bowden of undefeated Auburn, locked out of postseason play. Who's the new #1? And 2, 3, and 4 for that matter. The new coaches poll is next on College Coach's Corner.
is College Coach's Corner with Paul Crane and Bob Lorenz.
We're glad you could join us on what should be a very interesting College Coach's Corner. I'm Bob Lorenz.
And I'm Paul Crane. You know, most of this college football season, who was number one was very clear-cut. Now, anything but. Who is number 1, 2, 3, 4, college football in a frenzy.
We've got quite a mix now, Paul, especially after yesterday. After beating Florida State last week, Notre Dame's Lou Holtz was asked his thoughts about the national championship. First things first, said Lou, I'm only thinking about next week's game against Boston College. That's vintage Holtz, who's never been one to look further than the following Saturday. And yesterday was a perfect example why. As BC pulled off the upset of the season by playing nearly flawless football, sustaining a late Irish rally, then coming up with a dramatic last-second victory, and our surprise of the week. All in plain view of Touchdown Jesus. And Tom Coughlin had the game plan down perfectly. So did his Eagles. Glenn Foley up top. Ivan Boyd laying it out and getting dirty. 36-yard strike. It's a 10-point Eagles lead. Third quarter, Darnell Campbell extends the lead to 17, busting it through the middle and then turning outside for a 21-yard sprint and a 31-14 lead. But then in the fourth quarter, down by as much as 17, Notre Dame comes back. Lee Becton, 29-yard touchdown run. The Irish would make a 2-point conversion and cut the lead to 38-25. A minute left. Fourth down. This is it for the Irish. Or would it be? Kevin McDougal to Lake Dawson, back of the end zone. Suddenly Notre Dame is on top 39-38. But BC has some time left, and they drive. 25 seconds left. Glenn Foley hitting Pete Mitchell for a 24-yard strike. Foley with 315-yard passing and 4 touchdowns. Then to Ivan Boyd, who guts out a run and gets to the 34-yard line, setting up this. David Gordon, 5 seconds left, and a 41-yard field goal to win it. He snaps it right through. It's perfect as time expires, and BC stuns Notre Dame and clouds the national title picture.
This is the best. Oh, my God. This is the best, baby. We told we would do it. Nobody believed us, but we did it. We did it.
You know, we've just come from the middle of the pack in the second division of the top 20 and had an opportunity today. We're fortunate to win.
I was very proud of our football team. I thought it was one of the great comebacks I've been associated with. It would have been an unbelievable victory.
I had not one pleasant thought about coming in here last year because there was nothing I could possibly say to explain what had happened. This year is a different story, and I'm very proud of that.
Things happen in a football game, and you got to fight through them. You know, you're gonna have good stretches, bad stretches. There's going to be adversity in every football game you play, and the good ones will battle through it.
Meanwhile, Florida State did what it could to try and regain the #1 ranking. Already up by 7 over North Carolina State, and Charlie Ward hooks up with Kevin Knox. That's a 23-yard strike, but it would not be the last between those two. Second quarter, Ward again finding Knox for a 5-yard strike as the Seminoles rolled up 553 yards of total offense in a 62-3 blowout of North Carolina State.
With the national championship door seemingly swung wide open, West Virginia is ready to walk through. The undefeated Mountaineers stayed that way yesterday, handing previously 4th-ranked Miami its first ever Big East loss. The Hurricanes had been held scoreless in the first half for the first time in 9 years, but got things going a bit. In the second half, Ryan Collins nothing over on the right side. He avoids the trouble and gets back to the backside of the pocket when he finds A.C. Tellison. Hits him for a 42-yard gain out of bounds at the 2. It set up a Miami touchdown and a 14-10 lead in the fourth quarter. About 6 minutes to go in the game. This is Robert Walker. A 19-yard touchdown run, just one play after a Miami sack had been nullified on a defensive holding call. West Virginia gives Don Nehlen the ice bath, winning 17-14.
And you may have noticed that the crowd has gone deadly silent because they know it's time to unveil the new USA Today CNN Coaches Poll, which carries equal weight with the AP poll in determining positions for the Bowl Coalition. And the University of Nebraska has become the #1 team in the nation with 43 of the possible 62 first-place votes. But the Huskers only hold an 84-point lead in the coaches poll over Florida State, which grabbed 11 first-place votes. Unbeaten West Virginia vaults from 6 to 3 and earns 7 first-place votes along the way. And the Mountaineers just missed out on being ranked second. They are only 11 poll points behind the Seminoles. Notre Dame drops to 4, but still managed to secure the final first-place vote. The Irish are 91 points behind West Virginia. And Tennessee, with its impressive 48-0 blowout of Kentucky, jumps 2 places to crack the top 5.
Well, West Virginia head coach Don Nehlen has been in this position once before. The 1988 season when he took his 11-0 Mountaineer team to the Fiesta Bowl and closed with a loss to Notre Dame, which won the national championship. And Coach Nealon joins us now from Morgantown. Congratulations, Coach. And yes, we know you still have one game left against an obviously very tough Boston College team. But, Coach, how do you feel about being ranked number 3 with 7 first-place votes and only 11 poll points behind second-ranked Florida State?
Well, you know,
up at Tennessee, they wound up as roadkill. The average Phil Fulmer flailing, 45-7. That sounds about right today against a Vandy team that's averaging 5 points a game in conference. And once they fall behind, the Commodores have no passing game to hang in there. It's another Phil kill in Knoxville.
And on your rest theory, Michigan State no rest at...
Here in the heart of the Great Smokies, among the cool mountain air and the rich colors of fall, lies a rivalry that stirs these Tennesseans. Today, Commodore Gold will remain silent until the string has been broken.